Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles of GreatMillStone that rule impeccably well, and shalom to you, Akim, that's pushing his truth and sincerity across the four winds, man, diligently. Right, I just want to get into this video, and it's going to be based on this article I've just come across, and it's taken from the Telegraph.co.uk, and the title reads, as you can see, Prince William warns that there are too many people in the world. Now, for those of you that don't know who Prince William is, he's basically, Prince over here in the UK, so-called Prince, because he ain't really a prince, man. The royal family here in the UK, far from being royal, man. These guys are Edomites, and they are the children of the wicked, the children of Edom, spoken of in the Holy Scriptures, in the Bible. Now, this guy's made a statement saying that, there's too many people in the world. And as soon as I saw that, that made me think of Bill Gates. Because a few years back, he also said the same thing. He said that we need to dramatically decrease the world's population. I believe he said through medication, right? So giving the people medication, which is actually poison, that's a big thing, man. The world population actually has gone down dramatically just from people receiving medication that is not actually good for them. It doesn't actually aid in getting them better, but rather actually makes them more sick, right? And there's many ways in which Esau, the so-called white man, controls world population, man. Through chemtrails, putting certain chemicals in the air that you breathe in on a daily basis, air pollution, that's also a big thing now in the news. They're saying that, 1 in every 6 people in the UK is currently dying just from not having clean air, right? So what does that mean? That means that there's snares and traps everywhere in this kingdom, man, that's shortening our lifespan, right? So, even I looked up on Wikipedia a list of uninhabited regions in the earth, because this whole thing of saying that, there's too many people in the world, that's a load of bullshit, man, right? That's just something that Esau is cooking up just to give an excuse for mass death, right, that he's going to start carrying out, man, right? Because they're going to just end up saying that, well, the world is overpopulated anyway, so, we're in danger. Well, we're not in any danger, man, because world population has never been an issue, man. There's 8 billion people on the earth right now, right? Around 8 billion roughly. And you got many parts of the world that's still uninhabited, as you can see on this chart that I've loaded up from Wikipedia, man. Right? So you look at all the grey areas where people actually, the majority of people do not inhabit, man. So what does that tell you? That tells you that there's many areas in the world where people can dwell, right? Because the Lord Yahweh Shemi Shai has made this earth, for that purpose, man, for people to dwell, right? Whether it be the heathen, you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans, who are the true children of Yahweh Shemi Shai, right? Because ultimately this world belongs to us. Right, and the scriptures also say that in my Father's house there are many mansions, man. So even outside of the earth, we're going to be dwelling too when Yahweh Shemi Shai makes his return and sets up that glorious and righteous kingdom. Right? You can see all the grey areas here. There's no overpopulation, man. Right? If anything, the world, as we know it right now, is probably only 60% filled, man. Right? From looking at this chart, man. Right? So Esau chats a load of bullshit. You can see the long list here of all the islands that are uninhabited, all the places you can go on the earth that, there's still no one's actually tapped into. But you know what? The Lord is saving those places, man. Right? Because Esau ain't going to tap into those places, man. We're going to tap into them places. We're going to rule the earth. And I'm talking about you Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. We're going to rule the earth righteously, man. Right? And we ain't just going to, roll up in a place and cut down all the trees, right? And not have any air to breathe. We're going to rule in righteousness, man. We're going to turn things back to the way they should be, right? It says here, rapidly growing human populations risk having a terrible impact on the world. The Duke said, didn't the Lord say to go forth and multiply, man? You know? When the Lord said go forth and multiply, did he tell you to stop at any point? Hell no, because the earth, it can be filled up, man. Right? The cycle has allowed for us to always populate the earth, man. There's no such thing as overcrowding the earth. That ain't gonna happen, man. That's never gonna happen, man. Because the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, sets things up perfect. The Lord didn't say go forth and multiply and stop at 10 or stop at 5, right? He just said to go forth and multiply, man, right? The Duke said that it is a result of wildlife was being put under enormous pressure and called for the issue to be addressed with renewed vigor. His concerns echo those of his grandfather, Duke of Edinburgh, who is the 2011 advocate voluntary family limitation. Voluntary family limitation. So they're trying to put a limit on how much kids you can have, similar to what they have there up there in China, man, right? As a means of solving overpopulation. So that's one of them buzzwords again that they're trying to put out there, the overpopulation, man. There is no overpopulation, which he described as the biggest challenge in conversation. His grandson, world patron of the Tusk Trust, told the charity's gala dinner in London that measures needed to be taken to save certain animal populations. Where it's Esau killing the animals and the insects, man, right? With the same things that he's killing us with, the killing of certain animals, using them for flipping food additives and all kinds of stuff they be using animals for, animal shells and all that kind of madness. Esau has to go, man. He's the only individual that needs to actually be extinct, that needs to be taken out so we can stop messing up the course of how things are meant to be, right? Which he describes as the biggest challenge in conversation. His grandson, royal patron of the Tusk Trust, told the charity's gala dinner in London that measures needed to be taken to save certain animal populations. In my lifetime, we have seen global wildlife populations decline by over half, he said. Well, that's because you guys are unrighteous rulers, man, right? You guys are bad managers, right? You know when you have a bad manager at work, he can't manage anything, right? Everything he tells you to do is backwards. And, the business can't flow with a bad manager, man. You got to get rid of him and put a new manager in place so the business can start running properly and start being profitable. Well, that's why the scriptures say the Lord is going to set one up that is profitable, and then that's going to be Yahweh Shai, right? And he's going to put the 144,000 in charge of ruling the earth properly, man, right? We ain't going to have any speaks of, world depopulation, man. That's not going to be on our agenda in the kingdom. Our agenda is going to be where we're going to ship these heathens to, man. Right? Where they're going to be most useful. Right? Where we're going to send Elam. Where we're going to get them to build. Right? That's the kind of things that are going to be on our mind. Righteous judgment. Right? And building up the kingdom of heaven, man. Right? Ain't no population control going to be happening in the kingdom of heaven. Right? I just want to get into a few scriptures before I close out. Now, this is Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 5. It said, yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he's a proud man. And that's Esau. He's a proud man, right? Because only a proud man would make such statements like this. Prince William warns that there are too many people in the world. Like, who the hell are you to make that statement and say that there's too many people in the world, right? Here it is that the so-called white man can't even figure out the foundations of the world and how the world came into existence. Right? But he wants to say that there's too many people in the world. Right? The so-called white man hasn't even, visited every single speck of the earth. But yet still, you want to make the assumption that there's too many people in the world. Right? Doesn't make any sense, man. Right? Neither keepeth at home who enlargeth his desire as hell and is as death, man. That's the so-called white man. He is as death, man. All these plans that they have, all the wickedness they're working upon their beds, as it tells you in the scriptures, right? That all their agenda is always, it always has to equal death, man. It always has to equal someone dying or something being extinct, right? Whenever Esau comes with an idea to solve a problem, it always has to involve death. and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth up unto him all people, man. And that's what he's done in the Americas. You know, you got all nations over there in America, man. It's a big melting pot. Same over here in the UK. And then he wants to run away and start talking about depopulation. There's too many people in the world, right? What kind of madness is that, man? This man is a hypocrite, and that's why he's got to go, man. Right? Shall not all these take up a parable against him, and a taunting proverb against him, and say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his? How long? And to whom that label himself with fit clay, man? Right? Shall they not rise up suddenly, and shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Right? Because thou hast spoiled many nations, all the remnant of the people shall spoil thee because of men's blood. For the violence of the land, of the city, and all that dwell therein, man. So this guy's got to go, man, because he's just pure death, right? He can't do nothing, right? He can't manage the world. He can't maintain the world. You know, the trees are dying. You know, the trees are lamenting. The animals are lamenting. You know, you got the lions, you know, turning into faggots, man. You know, he's changed the natural course of things, you know, completely upside down, like it tells you in the scriptures, man. So that's why this man totally has to be gone, man, right? Now this is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 32. It says, the wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death, man, right? And that's truly the only hope we have, man, right? Is that Yahweh Shem Yahushai comes back and takes Esau out, man, right? So we can now rule the world, you know, headed through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and bring righteousness back onto the earth, man. Right? That's going to be the sole purpose of setting up our kingdom, is making sure everything is back in order and making sure the world can run how it once did before, man. Right? Esau has to go, man. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous have hope in his death. What does it mean to have hope in something, man? We have hope in his death, man. That doesn't sound like, you know, the almighty power is all love, man. The Lord is saying the righteous have hope in the wicked's death, man. We have hope in Esau's death, man. We hope for it, man. We ain't trying to save Esau, man. Right? Like these fake-ass Christians, man. We ain't trying to save Esau, man. We trying to do away with Esau altogether, man. Right? That's what we hope for, man. That's what we pray for. Right? The downfall of the so-called white man, who are the biblical Edomites, man. Right? And with that, I hope this lesson was edifying. And until next time, you know, Shalom.